And in second or third gear, I did a full red line run, yeah? And red line in this is really loud, okay? Fine. He's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, we get to a narrow road and suddenly this bike overtakes me and stops in front of the car. So I'm like, shit, we're fucked. Yeah? This guy gets out, he said, get out of the car. So most magazines, I think all magazines now, what these manufacturers do is they'll give you a car on a long-term basis. So it's just so that, we get to live with the car. We get to see how it is on a day-to-day, ownership basis. Yeah, so sometimes you get lucky, you'll get like nice, you'll get that point, getting a Passat was a big thing for me. Yeah, long-term. You tend to get some of the nice cars. Of course, some of the interesting cars also. Like I'd say Wagon-R is very interesting because there's so much interest. It's such a practical car. Maybe not the safest, but it's a very mass market car. So it's interesting to see why people buy it and why the second-hand value of this car is so high all the time. Yeah? So whatever car it is, you pretty much have a good time. It's not your car also. Doesn't mean you can go crash it because then you won't get the Ferraris. But you get it, right? So sometimes you end up with some really special cars. Mine was, so I had a black Thar when I was at Autocar. The Mahindra had just come out with a factory fitted AC Thar. And they'd also just come out, Mahindra customization had just come out with a whole lot of off-road accessories for it. So, metal bumpers, rock sliders, this thing, all of that. So I said, why don't we do one thing? You give me a new Thar. I'll start writing about it as a stock Thar and I'll start going off-road with it. And every month we'll add something new to it and talk about how it improves the car's off-road ability. They're like, yeah, done. So everything came on. Snorkel, locking diff in the back, rock sliders, metal bumpers, winch, everything. And every weekend I used to take this and go off-road with this. Bunch of friends of mine, they call Learn Off-Road now in Bombay. So that's where I learned how to basically drive these things off-road. Yeah. I moved to Evo. The black Thar went away. I was very sad. I cried, honestly. I went to Evo and I was like, hey, here's another chance to ask Mahindra for another Thar. This time they're like, we're not giving this idiot another car to break all the time. So let's see what we can do. And at that time, Mahindra just started rallying a couple of years ago. Yeah, and their idea was to take a Thar and make it a desert truck. Yeah, and take it rallying. Now the problem is the Thar's not designed to go rallying, right? It's an off-roader. But of course, people think differently. Mahindra, Bijoy Kumar took a Thar from the marketing department and gave it to Raj Kapoor in Delhi, as Performance Auto Works, I think. Yeah, this guy is a little crazy in how he does these things. So he decides to chop the whole body off, make it a fiberglass body, so lighter weight. Put a roll cage in, it has to comply to rally-spec, no? It has to, the FIA has to approve it. So roll cage, put a completely different air intake, so the intake was very short, yeah? And then the exhaust was even shorter. And then he stripped the whole interior of everything, no firewall, no sound deadening, no AC, nothing, yeah? No nothing, it had the power steering, it had the rally handbrake, the fly-off handbrake, 2 Sparco rally buckets, 5-point harness, that's it. Yeah. So Sunny Sidhu, I don't know if you know him, very famous, very mad Sardar, from Chandigarh. He took this Thar. First year didn't win, Desert Storm. Second year didn't. Third year I think he came second. But by then the XUV was out. Mahindra had converted that into a rally car and they retired the Thar. Yeah. So this thing was sitting somewhere, I think in Delhi, in performance. Yeah. But nobody is using it, it was rotting away. And that's when I called from Evo. I said, so Vinod from Mahindra said, we have this orange Thar, maybe, let me see, whatever. Some 2-3 months later, he's like, okay, it's ready. go pick it up. So I'm like, we have to do a mad story, we take it to Mana Pass, which is then the highest point, highest motorable road, yeah. It was some 19,000 feet or something. So we were like, this is a great Thar to do it in. First story for this. And the car's already in Delhi. As I pick it up, drive it to Uttarakhand, Badrinath, and then go up to the pass. I had to get permission from the army, all of that. Got it. I had a very nice, I knew somebody there who was very good to me, and he got me the permissions. So we went to Raj's place. First time I saw it. So this thing got a very weird dough because the body is fiberglass. Some bit of it metal at the bottom, but they cut the door to a very funny shape. So you had to launch yourself into the car. You couldn't walk into it, or you couldn't step on something and climb in. It didn't have rock sliders or footsteps. You had to. You put one leg in and then kick off with this leg, jump. You had to land into the bucket seat in one shot. Okay, so it kept me fit for a long time just doing that. So you have to do this, and getting out is the same way. And once you're sitting in it, you put the rally straps on, the harness on, adjust it, you can't move. So you can't adjust the mirror. You can't adjust this mirror. You can just about reach the horn, you can reach the handbrake, and you can reach the gear lever. That's it, but you're stuck in this position, So if you've forgotten mirrors and all, unbuckle everything, okay, fine. Then to get to the mirror, it didn't have windows. It had a sliding box. Yeah? So it's great for rallies, but when you want to pay tolls, very difficult. Like you send the money like that, your hand goes, you first unbuckle everything, send your money in like that. If you want to talk to somebody on the road outside, you have to open the door and talk to them. Yeah? And the exhaust is right under the driver's door. So if the engine's on, it's like, there's a free flow exhaust. And you're like, yeah, what? Yeah? So it was a mad car from the beginning. First thing I did in Delhi. Delhi's hot. I took it out, got stuck in traffic. Because there's no firewall, all the engine heat comes straight into the cabin. No AC. It had two vents on the roof scoop. So when the car's moving, it would force air into this thing. You can direct those vents to point at you, so you'll get some air. But if the car's stuck in traffic, you're dead. Yeah. I made it to one friend's house. I said, dude, one beer, please. Please, I'm staying here tonight. 2 beers. Okay, 3 beers now. Okay. Finished, drank beer. Next day morning, I have to pick up Vikrant and Abhay. Abhay is coming on the V-Strom 1000 to Mana. And we start driving. It's not very far, it's 200 kilometers. But nice. It was good fun. Like I've got some videos of this thing. Sounds very nice because this intake hiss, the turbo whistle you can hear very loudly because there's no sound deadening. No? The exhaust is sitting under this thing. The tires are all mud tires. So when you're doing 120 and all, it sounds like whoa, and there's no sound deadening, so you can hear everything, plus the wind noise of the wind rushing through this roof scoop. So after some time you go deaf, but you forget about it. You're just enjoying it. It's a very direct Thar to drive. Like the other Thars are built for off-roading, so soft suspension, wheel articulation. This thing had twin dampers and rally leaf springs at the back. So it's very hard, jumps damn well. So I was hooliganing, like actually enjoying it. You turn the steering this much, it jumps that way. It turns and jumps that way. Very physical experience driving it. So anyway, we get to Mana Pass and all that and do all that. We go up there and all that. Going up 40 kilometers, going up and coming down took us 8 hours. Yeah, the road was that bad. I don't know what it is now. But this thing went up all the way. And the problem with this is it's so stiff, there's no wheel travel. So when there's rocks and all that, it'll always lift a wheel, drop somewhere, do all that. So you need either momentum or like we did put a locking differential and take it, yeah. So we then got up almost up to the border. They didn't let us go there because the Chinese had started patrolling the Tibet border and you'll get shot, they said. So okay, fine. We went up to Devtal, which is one lake on top, proof that we were there. Took it back, now Abhay and me have to drive this thing back to Pune. Right. So first adventure started in UP itself, getting towards Delhi. In Uttarakhand I think. Sorry, or Haryana, I forgot where. Honda City overtakes us. Again, I don't know why I always get pushed off the road, but it's a Thar, man. But anyway, it's orange. This thing is bright orange. Car pulls it. This guy in full dhoti, whatever that, walks out of the car, and I've opened the door by then to see what he wants. But I've left the engine on, no? Because you don't know. He's like, I want to buy this car. So I'm like, dude, it's not my car, it's company car, I can't sell it. No, no, no. I have money in that car in the boot. You tell me your price, I'm taking it. I tried a little bit more, please, no, can't do. He's not listening, yeah. Reverse gear, wheel spin back, almost ran him over, he jumped out of the way, and this thing's quite fast. It'll top out 160 somewhere there. And I know made it to Delhi, got stuck in traffic. We were both sitting there, it was 40 degrees outside the cabin. I don't know what it was inside, but we're both sitting in this, you can't go anywhere, we're stuck. Vikrant by then is like, usually like starting to pass out and all that. So I said, we can't make it to Delhi like this. We'll go to a friend's house in somewhere nearby. I called him and said, I'm coming. Went to his house. Vikrant got out of the Thar and he'd do that launch out also. He collapsed, man. His feet landed on the ground, bent, and he fell on the ground. We picked him up, took him up, gave him ORS, water. All of that. That's what this car does to you. Yeah? And then we told him, you sit behind Abhay's bike and go. I'll come in the Thar from there. Yeah. So I went in the Thar. Vikrant's taken the flight back. Abhay's left the bike in Delhi. Now he's got into this. So first day is Delhi, Udaipur. And it's a 6-lane, 4-lane highway. And we're doing 120 cruising speed easy. So 120 and Abhay's like, let's measure what the sound level is. 120 decibels. No, 106 decibels, sorry. Okay, so the whole day we're communicating over this noise, and this is cruising speed when all the cars go at their quietest. This is loudest. Yeah, Abhay and shouting over this. So we get to Pune, both of us lost our voices, couldn't talk for days. Yeah, can't hear each other because the only thing you hear is for 1600 kilometers. Yeah, or 1600, no, 800, yeah, 800, somewhere there. So anyway, we get to Pune. I'm very happy now. This orange Thar to drive for a year. Nobody else in the office wants to borrow this car because usually we swap cars once in a while to see all the other cars. Nobody wants it. They'll take it, come back in 5 minutes. Too hot. It's too raw. Yeah. And I was like, dude, done. I'll drive it. So I used to go to office early, leave last to skip traffic. Suresh was damn happy, but he didn't know that this is the real reason. I didn't want to sit and sweat. So anyway, I used to use it as my daily car every day, 10 kilometer run to office, home and back. Pune is okay because not that hot also. In December and all, it's very nice weather. So this car is a very good car to I got bashed up for it once. That's okay, I think they know. Gaurav was the photographer and I was supposed to go to Bombay to do a shoot with him. So he lives in a place called Kothurud. So Gaurav is he's a very sweet guy, very quiet guy. He likes going in comfort. He doesn't like these bone shaking, jumping, growling things. Yeah. So, but I was like, no, dude, I just got the car. Let's take it and go. I want to see what it's like again. You know, it's fun. Yeah, you'll see it. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, okay, fine, man. You know? So I went to Kothurud at 3 in the morning, picked him up. Now I'm damn excited. I have to show him what this car is. No. So we get out onto a slightly broader road, and in second or third gear, I did a full red line run. Yeah. And red line in this is really loud, okay. Fine, he's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, we get to a narrow road and suddenly this bike overtakes me and stops in front of the car. So I'm like, shit, we're fucked. Yeah, this guy gets out, he said, get out of the car. So I'm like, what happened? Listen, I'm really sorry. I know we went loud through your neighborhood. Really sorry, it's Gunda type. Huh? So he just get out of the car. So I'm like, okay, unbuckled, launched myself out. 4 more bikes come with two guys on. No questions. Punch. Face, chest, stomach. Yeah, so many guys, nothing you can do. Yeah. Just take it and enjoy it. And Gaurav is telling them in Marathi, see, he's saying he's sorry, let him go. Let us go. These guys go to the other side. You are supporting an outsider. And they drag him out. And they throw him on the ground, kick him, breaks his ribs and all that. Yeah. 5 minutes, whole thing is done, it's gone. They've disappeared. And they're like, my face is that big here, red here. I think I cut my lip, whatever. Gaurav is full pain. He's broken a lower one of the vertebrae, I think. So I'm like, okay, come, get back in. So with this, he launched himself back in. I've launched myself back in. We go to the hospital, put him in the X-ray. He's broken, and the doctor said nothing to do. 3 weeks rest. I take him back home. Okay, you rest. I have to go to Bombay to do this shoot. So I get another photographer and go and finish the shoot that day. But this car brought out the violence in the anger in people because it's so in your face. Yeah. Another neighbor, old man. I had a narrow lane going to my house. So I'd gone to buy some beer and all. There lots of friends coming from Bombay. Beer made I'm turning in. It's a nice start. So I took the turn a little fast. I went past him, parked the car. He went to the police station and said I hit him. Okay. So police have come to my house. Well, all these people are there at home. And they're like, you have to come to the police station. I said, okay, fine. I didn't hit anybody, but whatever, we'll see. So they're like, you can't take the jeep. There's no parking. Now how do we go? So one cop in front, I'm sitting in the middle, one cop behind me, triples on the bike. It's damn weird. Yeah. I go to the police station and this old man sitting there and he's telling the cop that I hit him. And I'm like, where did I hit you? He said, here. And he showed me one cut on nonsense. He just got upset that I had gone past him faster. I started shouting at him. He's shouting back at me. His son is there, son is shouting, I'm shouting at the son. All this is in broken Marathi, Hindi, English mix. The cop is just sitting at his desk and he's like, Saturday night, why do I deal with these? Yeah, it goes on. Finally, the cop says, you give me a license. He sends the old man off. He says, I have to file a case and all that. I said, yeah, do whatever. I'm tired. I'm going back home. So again, 3 cops and me on the bike. Go back home, they drop me off. Yeah. Then he said, come back the next day, and collect your license. I mean, I have to file a case. You have to give your details. I said, okay, fine. Next day morning, I go there. He's like, you do one thing. I don't feel like filing all this case and all that because a lot of work for me. You take your license, you get me a bottle of whiskey. So I said, done. Super. Saves me the trouble of going to court. So I got him a bottle of whiskey. And yeah, basically that's how, from then on, every time Thar is going out, I'll call him. I know him now. Yeah? I call him, or I'll randomly go give him a bottle of whiskey. I'll be like, car's going out, don't do anything. Or there's a party happening, don't do anything. He's like, yeah, no problem. No problem. So I sorted that out. Yeah, so that was the thing. So anyway, back to the Thar. Yeah? So this was one. It used to jump. The picture of it, I hope I still have the picture. It's I think 2-3 easy 4 feet in the air, proper that kind of thing. We used to take it to Sirish's farm. One of these Sirish would come and say, I don't feel like working. Or do you guys feel like working? Let's go to the farm. He had a rally polo. We take the Super Thar. I had a Tiger then, and we had a Polaris RZR at this thing. So we just go and drive these things up and down the quarry till somebody come and shout at us and say, stop throwing dust and making noise and all that. And fine, thank you. Go back home and go to work the next day. So it was a very cool car. We did that. What else did I do in it? I did a lot of things in it. And it was big. I wanted to take it to a 5-star hotel. Yeah. So there's some Jaguar launch or something in Bombay and Four Seasons in Worli. So I was like, I'll take the Thar. But wise enough, I know Bombay traffic, no? And I know I'll get there fully drenched. So I took spare clothes, got in the car, drove across the expressway, went to a friend's house near the Four Seasons, had a shower there, full change everything, went in the good clothes to this thing, drove the Thar in. That valet guy was like, yeah. And I said, this is the electric cutoff, this is the main switch, this is what you have to do, this is the door, this is this. I explained the whole thing to him. He's like, okay, I got it, I'll go park it. I went in, launch happened, everything. I come out, there's a Rolls Royce Ghost parked there, there's the Super Thar right in front, and a 911 turbo behind it. Yeah? This guy is like fallen in love with the car and his little spin. He's like, the best place to park is in the front. Yeah. So there, he's damn happy. I asked for the key. He's like pretending to look for some other key. He can't find this and all. And like, come on, man, give it. You have to. I took the car, went back home. It was a really fun vehicle because nobody else Nobody else got the idea of this car. And they drive it and they'll be like, what is this? Uncomfortable, it's hot. Why do you drive it? It was super fun. It was a one-off, literally a one-off car. Yeah. Sad story to end this, but because what happened is it went to another journalist, and I shall leave names out, but he got stuck in a salt swamp near the sea, near the beach somewhere. I think he left it there for 3 days. Yeah, and at that time the salt started eating into everything. So the only thing remaining of that car now is the fiberglass shell. Everything else they sold it for scrap value basically. It was that unused. The chassis had rusted, everything. So yeah, very upsetting for me to see that because I would have never done that to that car.